My name is Frances Raybeau. I'm the alumna coordinator for the Dog Tag Fellowship Program, and I have with me on the call not only Ashley Hearn, the program manager, but also a select number of alumna of the fellowship program, and okay, hi Anna as well, and who will be answering some general questions about their experience in the fellowship. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat, and Ashley will let me know and I can ask them to the panel as well. So the first thing I'm going to start this out with is asking the alumna to introduce themselves. So I'm going to start with Mike.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Mike Gephart. I'm from cohort 5, so a few years ago, and had a great time when I went through the program. Work now as a consultant for Department of Defense on education issues for service members. And I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit about the fellowship with you this afternoon.
All right. Mike, and which military branch were you from?
I was in the Army for about 26 years.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, Monifa. Hi and welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all. My name is Monifa Caines, and I'm from cohort 10, which was last year. I started the Dog Tag Fellowship July 9th, 2019. So I'm a year out from when I started, but I was in the Air Force. I was a registered nurse. Left and did a lot of things. Right now, I own my own company and just looking to expand. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Monifa. Now, before I introduce the other two alumna, I would like to let everybody know that we are recording this so that people who are not able to attend are able to watch it later on. So just letting you know. So if you feel uncomfortable with that, feel free to turn off your video, etc. All right. So Anne.
Hi, I'm Anne, cohort 6. I'm in Bethesda, Maryland. I was in the Army for 14 years. I retired in July 2018. And I am fully retired. I write regularly and I do a lot of mentorship at Walter Reed with service members who are going through the medical board process.
All right, Anne, thank you so much. And we have Caroline calling in. Caroline, if you're available right now, let me know. Oh.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Hi, we can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hi,
No
my
worries.
name is Carolyn Olson, and I participated in cohort 13, the lucky ones that also got mother of the COVID cohort. I retired from the Army last June. On Tag, looking really for a purpose, and I had a number of service-related disabilities that helped. I was looking to put my current capabilities in the context of, what was my chapter next, and I'm glad that y'all are interested in taking part in this amazing experience.
All right. Thank you so much. So that was Carolyn Olson, and at the beginning of her speech, you may have missed it. She's from cohort 11. So, all right. And so I'm going to proceed with the first question. And once again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat. So we can kind of do this popcorn style. So whoever feels moved to speak first may do so. What did you do right after the program, and now what are you up to?
Okay, well, I'll start. Thanks, Frances. Right after the program, well, let me just say, right before the program too, I had in mind that I wanted to run my own company, but just didn't know enough and just didn't dive in and didn't think I had what it took. So the program really helped me find who I really was at my core and get my business ideas together, that I was so ready to graduate. On November 21st, 2019, I graduated and I was ready to start my business. Now, my business is called Queen of Spades Style, and it deals with a lot of hair accessories for women of all cultures and textures of hair, and expanding. But regardless of what I'm selling, it was just that it gave me the fortitude and the knowledge and the know-how and the strength to just take that leap. I never did it. I've been thinking that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Never thought that I was really going to do it. I was mulling around with ideas for 10 years. Before Dog Tag, I just felt like I was floating. I did not really find my true purpose, and it didn't all come together until I went through Dog Tag. So afterwards, I started my company and I just kept going. So I really didn't take any time. I just jumped right into it because I was excited and I was ready, and it just keeps getting better. So my journey still continues. And even after Dog Tag, we still meet up. We still have touch bases. I can call them for resources, for reassurance, other things. So even though I'm out of Dog Tag, I'm always a part of the family, and I can always pick up the phone when I need help.
All right, thank you so much. Mike, do you want to speak?
Yeah, so just like Monifa, I started my own business. Been working as a contractor for another small consulting firm for the last 3 years, or at least it'll be 3 years in October, and really focused on technology and using that to help service members get where they needed to go using the voluntary education benefits. And the program gave me a tremendous amount of confidence and understanding of kind of the business world of what it takes to establish your company, and what kind of things you need to be looking towards to help it grow. And I found a couple of great mentors at Dog Tag, and I've also found a few mentors outside of Dog Tag. But those guys came along because of relationships that I had made from some of the learning labs in the cohort program. So there's a huge amount of opportunity to network and develop relationships to broaden your horizons much further than you might imagine at this point right now. And my horizons continue to grow. I'm looking to expand my business outside of the tech and more into the outdoor recreation arena in the next couple of years, maybe completely shed the office in 2 or 3, maybe 4 years at the most. Be working from the hurricane deck of a mountain bike or living out of a backpack. It's kind of my goal. So Dog Tag's given me the opportunity to realize that and kind of work towards that. It's been phenomenal.
All right, thank you so much. And Anne, you touched on it a little bit, but if you'd like to elaborate.
Sure. I think that when I first started at Dog Tag, I had a lot of ambitious plans. I hadn't retired yet. I don't think that I had come to terms with my limitations. I've got nerve damage. I've got, a lot of physical limitations. I look really healthy, but so at Dog Tag, I was planning to start a bee harvest, raise honeybees, harvest honey, and start a biscuit baking business. And Dog Tag really worked with me. When I got into the kitchen, I was in and out of the walk-in freezer because I can't regulate my body temperature. They did a lot to try to accommodate. Like they brought in these big industrial fans, you know, and over a process, I kind of came to terms with the fact that I can't do this. I can't physically do that. And it was heartbreaking, and it was really hard, but everyone there really helped me realize, like, okay, you can't do these things, but what can you do? You know, and I am a very good writer. I love to write. And so I was really given the permission to pursue that as a legitimate thing. And so I think it gave me the confidence and the permission to nurture my natural gifts and really focus on those unapologetically, and really to trust the process. That it might not be going the way that I want it to go or what I had envisioned for myself, but it is going in a very meaningful and, you know, in a good direction. So I think it's just exciting to be in an environment where, you know, there really are no limits. There's no limits and there's no expectations on what you should do or what you must do. So I think, and kind of like Monifa said, it's a living community where you can always tap into for support, encouragement. Everybody's always doing something new and different. And it's just a really great, it's a great resource.
All right, Anne, thank you so much. And Caroline, who I'll remind you is a graduate of cohort 11. Hi, Caroline, and actually is from the most recent cohort to graduate. If you'd like to touch on a little bit just what you've been doing very recently since graduation. Caroline, you are currently muted.
There we go. This is one of my traits through this whole virtual experience as the COVID cohort was the button is very important. I guess since I graduated, I had one goal coming into the program, which was to have a defined way ahead. And as I got closer and closer to the end of my experience at Dog Tag, there was one key takeaway that I had, and when you meet the CEO, Megan Ogilvy, I think you'll understand her way. And like Anne, she talked about like what she could and couldn't do. I was in a very similar position where I needed various accommodations, and it was a bit of a fact-finding process with everything from academics to just some physical ability issues that I was working through with my disabilities. And Dog Tag was incredibly supportive of what I needed, as I literally kind of took the flashlight and found my way through it myself. But I wanted, Megan said to me the last few weeks of the fellowship, you know, that the shift that you have from what you can't do or should be doing to what you can do and want to do, and that we're each enough today, we were enough yesterday, and we'll be enough tomorrow. I daily think about that as I shoot my azimuth moving forward each day. And I came in the program, my idea was around creating a strategic consulting business. And I signed up for, because of kind of going through Dog Tag and learning from some of the other fellows, the Georgetown Leadership Coaching course that starts this month. And I've had to delay some of the startup of my business that I crafted the business plan for, and which each of you will have the chance to do due to some additional health issues. But I think that everyone has talked about the networking that you get to do. There's usually somebody who's been there and done that and are more than willing to help you as you continue to make strides to what you plan for the next steps are for your careers. And I think that is just the support that you have. Are you still there?
Yeah.
You had a blink.
Yep. Okay. So you blinked out a little bit, but the last sentence you were saying something about support.
Right. I think that as you get to know each other, I mean, we had the luxury of the first 2.5 months we were in the classroom. And so we got to know each other as, I think it's and we've all found through, the Zoom world that we live in now, it's a bit of a different experience and getting to know people. And the layers that you learn about each other, like when you sit in the classroom and you're thinking about maybe some of the challenges that you have. Wow, the challenges that each of the people that are in this program have, it builds, it's humbling, and it's incredible to see what people have overcome. And I think that is one of the greatest things about being part of a dog tag cohort.
All right. Thank you so much, Caroline. This time I'll start with Anne. Kind of a fun question. What was your favorite part of the program?
I think the favorite part, I mean, just the atmosphere. It's hard because in COVID, I guess you're not actually in the bakery, but I really loved, I love the idea that there is a building that exists that is a bakery that literally happened from an idea, and that there's a classroom upstairs on the second floor. I loved getting lunch, between classes down in the bakery. It's such a great feeling place. I really think that, and I recommend so many people go there because it's so beautiful. It's down near the water. So I guess I love the location and I love the decor. The food is incredible. And I don't even think it's really the food as much as it is the energy of people who are the real deal. Like you could have a really crappy sandwich, but if it's made by your grandma, like that tuna fish sandwich is the best thing you ever ate in your whole life, but it's like tuna fish out of a can. But the food is really good. I mean, it's delicious, but it's made with like just love and attention, and that's what I loved about it. And it reinvigorated, it renewed my hope that does really exist in the world, that it's a real thing. And that was my favorite part.
All right, great. Monifa, what was your favorite part of the program?
My favorite part of the program, well, I guess two things. First, that when I started dog tag, I didn't realize that I walked into a village. And if you are going to proceed in life with a lot of things, whatever your journey is, you need a village. And you may have different villages, but I came there, I was going to start my business. I just didn't know how. But I ended up just letting go of being a little stoic and a little private, and learning more about people and letting them know me, that I was in an environment where everybody wanted to see you win. And not only that, but we had some of the same backgrounds, that I can tell certain things out loud and they understood. So it was just that, yes, camaraderie and the team, a village that we built. And that was one of my favorite parts of dog tag. The other part was just the learning. I'm a lifetime learner. I soaked up everything those lessons had to offer because I knew after this, I'm ready to go. So just the learning and that I can contact the people that came in to teach us afterwards. I still meet with a few of the guest instructors, still talk with them, still Zoom with them. Just know that everything they gave me was applied to me starting the business, maintaining my business, and knowing how to pivot and also giving us their phone number when we don't know what to do. So I think the lessons were also one of my favorite parts of dog tag, besides growing my village.
All right. And Caroline?
Well, everyone covered the community of dog tag and that you all become part of a little tribe that then becomes your bigger tribe of all of the cohorts and the people that work in the bakery and the program directors and the professors that teach you. I'll highlight on the learning labs. I thought were pretty, the diversity of the people that they get to come in. I mean, it's everything from entrepreneurs in the DC area or people that have gone that, with Zoom, we had a whole big new band that could take part in our learning labs. But we would have entrepreneurs that came in that I remember one distinctly that had a number. She was in a co-op for Ace Hardware, and basically told us how she built her business in a co-op from the ground up and the different dynamics of the business itself. We had someone who came in that was a CEO for a organization called Nest, which does, it's kind of a boutique type of a property management company. And many of these different business persons were speaking to us just as COVID was rolling out, all of these new dynamics. We had people that were the small business owners and experienced it, all their thoughts that they were going through as COVID was, affecting our country so greatly. And I mean, the dog tag brings in top-notch educators, top-notch business people that are real business people that haven't figured everything out. And many that were more than willing to share their hard knocks. The one other thing I want to bring up is that everyone kind of hated, and then we really became it became so personal, was at the end of the program, they have a Finding Your Voice night. And it's meant to be on a very more intimate type of setting. And the adage, I think MTV and real world, it's like where people get real. And we work on finding your voice for a presentation that's about 5 to 7 minutes. And we give it to, our professors, family members from other fellows. And you really, going through that process, realize how far you've come at the end of the program and how far each of your the other fellows and your friends have come through this whole 5-month process. It was pretty amazing. So I would say that those were my 2 favorite parts.
Thank you so much, Caroline. For a little bit more clarification, Finding Your Voice is one of the components of the program. It's a feeder class that is taught throughout the 5 months of the program that ultimately culminates in a performance where each fellow is able to tell their story. And that's what Caroline's referring to right now. All right, Mike, would you like to touch on your favorite part of the program?
Yes. As Carolyn said, one of the most dynamic and impressive parts of the program in my mind's eye was the learning labs, because you got a wide swath of folks that came in and talked to you and shared their story. Some of them were veterans, some of them weren't. All of them had tremendous respect for our community, which was awesome. But the thing that gave me the most excitement about those learning labs was these people came in and talked to us as peers and equals and shared their stories unabashedly, and talked about not just the good times, but sometimes dwelled on the really tough times that they had to endure in order to reach the success that they had achieved. And one of the things that did for me was really impress me that, hey, I've done all this great stuff in the military, and a lot of it is very similar to what they've done in the business world. So I shouldn't be afraid to take that next step and get out there and just start doing stuff. And that was probably the thing that I took the most joy from the course, was meeting all these people that came in and shared their story, and listening to the hard knocks that they had endured and the things that they had done and the creative solutions they had come up with to solve some of the challenging problems that they had encountered in making their business work. And what they were continuing to endure and how they were overcoming those challenges was really motivating to me, and helping me understand that while the larger civilian community can be pretty daunting, there is a community out there that is willing to help and help you sort it out, so you don't have to completely go it alone. And that's been really helpful in my venture since I left the program a few years ago. And so, and I continue to reach out to those folks, and I continue to offer to the fellows as the new cohorts come in, opportunities to speak with me and learn from the things that I've endured and the challenges I've faced and how I've overcome those, so that they have the opportunity to live more vicariously through my experiences than enduring that challenge all by themselves.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. And Gabriella Hernandez, I think, actually put this in the chat earlier, but I'm going to ask it out to all of you, for those who didn't see. What separates this program from Department of Defense programs or other government-funded programs that you could possibly be a part of as a transitioning military member or spouse?
Go ahead, Mike.
I would just say that the biggest thing DogTech has going forward is it's not another government program. The folks that come in and talk, whether it's a professor from Georgetown or an entrepreneur from somewhere in Virginia or Maryland, they genuinely want to be there. They want to help you learn and succeed and achieve success, whatever your definition of success is. And they want to hear about that success or that challenge long after the program is over. Some of the DoD programs that I've been participated in as part of my transition, I never really felt that anybody was necessarily going to be there once it was done. They came in, they gave their 45-minute to an hour-long spiel, and then once they left, I wasn't going to hear from or see them ever again. They might have left some business cards, but that didn't really engender me to want to reach out and talk to them about anything else.
All right, and I know, Caroline, you were going to speak.
Yeah, I would say a key difference is, whether it's 4-block or Hiring Your Heroes or the USO Pathfinders program. I think that most of those programs, the objective is to find a job. Okay, what are you interested in? What are your capabilities? And who does that, so that you can, be presented or united with some employers that are looking for people like you. And I think the key difference with dog tag is that when you walk into the classroom, like one of my monikers is like, on the application, I said, I want to shake up my Etch-a-Sketch. I want to not look back at what I did, what qualifications I have, what schools I've been to, and retiring after 30 some years in the military, it's like, okay, I can choose. Mm-hmm. And I have 5 months to really focus on just that. And and the community has the wraparound. It's like, well, have you ever thought of this? Or you've really got time to think, and a place to do it that also has great blondies and brownies and I think with the clearing and a space just to focus, that you're not going to end up necessarily doing exactly what you did while you were in uniform, or if you were a spouse and then just trying to fall into the next thing where your better half or military members job took them. And with the focus on entrepreneurship, I know one of the reservations I had with applying the program, I'm like, oh, it's a bakery. Well, I don't want to start a bakery, and then also thinking, well, I don't know that I want to start a business, but it was a place to think about that and get all the skills together. So I'm ready to do that when you get out of the program. And so I think that's a key difference, is just a space to think and not end up looking like the person in this taking off the uniform and putting on a suit and walking into an office.
I think that's a great point. I have not been involved in any of the DoD programs. I can't speak on them. I have been involved in some other programs through universities. I will say by far, this one is the best because of it being a living, breathing business school where I would learn from instructors from Georgetown and other professionals, and then apply what I just learned about marketing and trying to market, or apply what I just learned in finance and work on the finances. So it was going hand in hand, not you learn, and when you get out, hopefully you remember it. No, you apply it right away. And I was very fortunate to find a fellowship program like Dog Tag, because I've never heard of that. So I'm not sure if DoD has that, but I do know I have done, like I said, other programs and universities, and this by far blew them away.
All right, and Anne, do you want to speak to this?
Sure, I guess 2 things. First, I'll be real. I mean, they pay you. Dog Tag straight up pays you a stipend. Okay, I've not seen that anywhere in any other program. I mean, so that's a real thing. Mm-hmm. The second, and they make you work for it. I mean, it's, and you learn a lot. So getting paid to learn and discover yourself and get firm footing is, And the second thing I would say is I've participated in a lot of programs through my transition. They say that there's no greater place to retire from the military than the National Capital Region, because every 3-letter organization wants your resume. I flew helicopters for 6.5 years and then did psychological operations. I had a TSSCI. And I will never forget the day that I let my TSSCI expire. And if you're familiar with that, and I have one of the top tier security clearances that you can have. And they always say that, you never want to let that expire, because it's essentially like gold, for any type of, job. And really, I had so many people at Dog Tag sit me down and say, Anne, does it really make sense to do on the civilian side what you did on the military side with your physical issues and your PTSD and your stress, your intolerance for stress?
Mhm.
And I just don't think, I did not, every other organization that I was in or a program that I had participated in was very focused on my resume and the rat race. But Dog Tag was like, look, you're single, you have no children, you have no debt, like get this like survival thing, like, and they really gave me a safe space to kind of be real with myself. Whereas I do think the other programs are very much streamlined with, you know, go do something productive. If it kills you, too damn bad. That's what we do in this country. Get after it and go, 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 go. And Dog Tag did not discourage me from doing that, but they kind of said, hey, let's sit down and take a look at what's realistic and the whole, you know, the whole person type thing. And partnered with Georgetown. I mean, they're a Jesuit university. And so people are just really genuinely interested in, you know, they won't say spirit, you know, but really, where's your spirit and your heart and what are your skills? And it's like the whole thing. So, and I, you know, no DOD, you know, program even touches the edges of things like that. So.
All right. Thank you, Anne. And actually, someone who's attending this seminar actually just said that they're familiar with that lapse in clearance, and it's hitting home with how they felt and how they feel right now. So.
I literally had shakes. I had shakes, and I was hot the day that I got the notification, you know, if you don't fill this paperwork out today, you're done. And I just was like, oh. And looking back now, you know, 3 years later, I mean, the degree to which I was wound up about that is just, but I was, and it's a real thing. And, but here I am, I lived to tell the tale, so.
And I am going through the same thought process right now. I've got like another 9 months left, and I'm still, maybe we should join a support group or form one around your TSSCI clearance.
So I'm going to take it back to one of the more tangible aspects of the program. We've been talking a lot about community and, you know, the spirit of Dog Tag, but something that's actually a huge part of Dog Tag is the capstone project. Mm-hmm. And the capstone, for those of you who don't know or aren't aware, is the final project of the fellowship, where fellows are required to create a business plan and pitch it to business leaders in the community. So what was the process like for you, and how did you end up using or moving on from that capstone project?
All right. Well,
all right, Monifa.
Thank you. Okay, so the capstone is something that you work on throughout your time while you're in Dog Tag. It will become your business plan on whatever you want to do when you get out. So there's a few components of this that you really have to work on, analyze, but you learn how to do it, of course, through all the different lessons you learn from the guest speakers and from what you applied in Georgetown. So you're working on your executive summary, you're working on your finance plan, your feasibility plan, your marketing plan, everything, but it's rolled up. So in the end also, they invite business leaders to sit there. It's about 3 of them when I went through this, and you give a pitch. You basically roll up that business plan and you pitch to them your idea of what you are going to do to move forward and how you're going to do it, how you're going to captivate them, what makes you different, what is your idea, why is it going to last, everything. And then after that, then they have the chance to ask questions. It was nerve-wracking and exhilarating at the same time, because I'm not one, as somebody who has a company, I will tell you, I've always kind of been in the background. If you were singing on stage, I'm in the back doing the lights. I've never had to propel myself in front and be the face. So when I say it was nerve-wracking, because that's who I am. I'm not like, hey, look at me, everybody. So for me to find that voice and say, listen, to make it happen, I have to step out front and be confident. And I know this. And that's what you're going to do. So to pitch to these people that have been in the business arena for decades, and then they ask you questions and everything. Yeah, I thought in the end, it was phenomenal. And you don't really get that type of experience so soon. And I will say, just doing the capstone and everything. So when they were asking me questions, I was able to dig up things from my business plan to answer them right away. So it came out wonderful. So I thought it was a very warranted experience, especially if you're moving ahead with starting a business.
All right, and I'll pass it over to Caroline, actually, who with the most recent and affectionately named Corona Hort actually had to do this virtually. So what was that experience like?
You know, I would say, you think when you're doing something, especially when we started out with this new virtual world that slammed everybody in the face about the third week of March, you know, the amount of energy that you have when you walk into the Shark Tank. Again, there's no doors that open. Everybody, that's an obvious comparison. When you actually get to that point, you know, it's you're putting on your suit and you're talking to the panel as if, you know, they're right in front of you. And it feels good to get that over with. I have to say, you know, it's like, wow, we finally did it. I wanted to step back though to kind of the beginning of the fellowship, because I was one that came into the fellowship and I didn't have any firm ideas. I had a few things I was thinking about, and that's okay. And I think that in the application process, that was one of the things that I was wondering. It's like, well, you probably have to come in and you have to know what you want to do, and you know, you have to know that you want to, you know, do a small business, start a small business, and I didn't. And as I walked during our cohort, we had everybody who came in. There was a guy that fell off of a mountain, broke every bone in his body, and he is more fit than most of us now, and you wouldn't even guess. But he came in, he's from day one, I want to start a climbing gym, for adaptive climbing gym. And I think about our cohort of, I think we had 11 in our cohort. There was probably 3 people that came in with an idea and stuck with it. Everybody else was vacillating between what they wanted to do. And again, that's okay. And a lot of what you learn through the process of putting your business plan together and presenting it is the ability to focus and also be able to replicate that process or make corrections as you go through everything you've learned through your learning labs and the Georgetown professors. And you're not going to have all of the answers by the time you're giving your presentation. But you've got the framework and you've gone through that experience of pitching, and from that you can take forward. So I think that the whole process to getting to that pitch day is the culmination of 5 months of just personal growth and growth with the fellows in your cohort.
All right, thanks. And Anne and Mike, do you want to speak on this?
It was a lot of fun putting the capstone together. It really tied up nicely every aspect of the fellowship. The project that I worked on was my partner and I created a business plan or pitch for Dog Tag to create a mail order service for some of their products and be able to ship that out across the states. And you go to the site now, you can see that they've implemented some pieces of our plan, and other pieces probably because they didn't quite fit or didn't make sense at the time, and probably won't for a little while longer, haven't been implemented, but that's fine. It's just really exciting to see, hey, an idea that I think probably came from either Megan or Lolly, and my partner and I took it and kind of ran with it and built it out for them and showed them what was in the realm of the possible is pretty exciting to see. You know, a couple of years later, it's been adapted and is in the works at Dog Tag and helping as a revenue stream fund the program and the bakery. So it was a lot of work, as everybody else has said, but it's really tied right back to the work you're already doing. So it's not necessarily something out of extra that you have to do. It helps cement some of those lessons that you're learning. The other thing that my partner and I found with the learning labs is if somebody was coming in and maybe they were talking something tangentially to what we were thinking about doing, we had questions. And they were a great resource right there on the spot to be able to kind of bounce those ideas off of in the middle of the learning lab and get some immediate feedback on what we were thinking. And then later, after that was done, before they had to depart, maybe we could get a few more minutes, or it was an email or phone call a day or so later to get a little more feedback. So really, the capstone really ties the whole program together and helps you see what is truly in the realm of the possible and get after whatever your vision for success is. Like everybody else, I kind of came into the program without really an understanding of what the program was about or how it might impact me. When I first learned about Dog Tag, it was only because I smelled chocolate chip cookies at a job fair where they had a booth set up. So from that point, I was kind of hooked, because my problem with chocolate chip cookies is I can only eat 2 of them at a time, and that's because I only have 2 hands. So the opportunities to just explore and learn and bounce ideas off your cohort for the capstone is really tremendous. And I don't know what else I can say. I mean, it was a great learning, growing, solidifying experience for the whole fellowship.
All right, great. Anne, do you have anything to add to that?
The capstone was a unique growing experience for me. So I partnered up with one of my, I'm not sure if you're allowed to do this anymore still or not, but I partnered up with one of my classmates, and he had a business idea that we kind of worked on, and he's out there getting after it and doing it, and is pretty successful. But it gave me the opportunity to kind of, he asked me like if I would want to like work with him on it, and I really had to, I mean, I was like, you know, I mean, in like the business, not just like the business plan. And I kind of had to say, like, I really don't want to, like, I support you. I encourage you. I think it's a great concept, which I did. It's like a coffee, like mobile book thing. It's really great concept. But it's just not something I wanted to do. So it was interesting because it gave me the opportunity to kind of get in the nuts and bolts of like business planning and what that might look like, and helping someone develop their concept, which was really great. You know, but at the same time, there was this person, I don't know that I'd ever, you know, when you're in the military, you're kind of in a team, you're going after the mission, and there's not really any no, you know, and it gave me the opportunity to kind of say, I really appreciate the invitation and stuff, but it's just not something I want to get committed with right now. You know, and this arena or realm kind of gives you a lot of opportunities like that, because someone might see something really great in you, whether it's your organizational skills or it's your, you know, idea or different things. And you have to really ask yourself, is that what I want to apply it to? You know, and, you know, I thought that was a really great growth opportunity for me to say no, you know, thanks for the compliment, but no.
Yeah. Good.
I love that, Anne. It's a great perspective. So at this point, I want to open it up to people in the audience. So if anybody has additional questions, feel free to unmute yourself or write one in the chat now. And we can take it from there.
I have a question.
Oh, all right, Monifa.
I have a question too. I just want to thank everyone that is here today. This is dog tag is very close to my heart. So knowing that people are interested in being a part of the family just warms my heart. But for everybody that's interested, I just want you all to know it does not matter if you have a business that you're thinking about. It doesn't matter if you want to go back into the job market. It doesn't matter if you want to go back to school. And it's what it is really finding a little bit more about you. That's where it begins. And I will tell you my time during dog tag and with my cohort, I found a lot more strength, determination, friendship, a lot of other things about me that I could move on to the next step as in conquer the business. So whatever you want to do, even if you don't, because before dog tag, I felt like I was just floating out there. Lack of direction, you name it, just a lot of things going on. But now I found a purpose. I found my passion, and I have a direction. So my class was full of everybody else everybody that, you know, not everybody want to start a business, and that's not what it's just about. But the core of it is really digging down more to you and then building that. So.
All right, kind of building off that, I'd love to close out by just asking the alums here if there's any advice that you would like to give to people who are either potential applicants or planning on being in the program, if there's any advice kind of to the tune of what Monifa was just saying for future fellows, things to think about before they start.
Yes. Yes, Francis. Yes, I would say, of course, just be your genuine self. When they say they want you to bring your authentic self, they truly mean it. It does not matter how much you are decorated. It does not matter how many jobs you've had. It does not matter who you know. What matters is who you are. So what they're trying to do as they see your authentic self, they're putting people together that will be in the same cohort that will compliment you, cheer you on, be there for you, and have that symbiotic relationship. So it just depends on who your authentic self is. And when the interview process starts, just be who you are. That's it.
All right, Mike and Caroline, ideas for advice to give to future fellows. Thanks, Monifa.
Thank you.
Apply. Put your application in. I mean, the application process is pretty straightforward, and the hardest part actually isn't even the application process, it's getting through the fellowship. And really that's not terribly challenging. It can be. Just like anything, you're going to have good days and bad days, but you can't start this wonderful journey if you don't apply.
And I'll throw in to comment on the application process, what Monifa was talking about. You know, you think about the interviews that you go to when you want a job, you know, and all that stuff from the DoD programs, that it's like, okay, these are interviewing techniques, and this is, you know, star format and all of this stuff. And I found the interview process to not be so much what you've done, but where you want to go and what got you to this point in applying. And, you know, many of us come out of the military and we are used to, you know, the briefings, and then we go through all the DoD programs for finding a job, and this is what, you know, sells in an interview. And honestly, the best thing that you can do if you go through the interview process is just to be yourself and be like brutally honest with who you're talking to. And Sharon, if you've got, you know, some things you're kind of worried about or some challenges that you have, it's just being real brutally honest, because the program wants to help people find purpose and define success, to put a wraparound on what a space that you can define success your own way. The other piece of advice that I would have is that going through dog tag, you know, there's the first part, I think there's staying with it is accounting. And it's, once you get through that, the classes seem to be a little bit more, it can be a little bit more manageable. There's a lot of work to get through the accounting piece, but there's a lot of support to get you through it as well. And it's like going to a job, and your mind's working the whole time. And I wouldn't recommend trying to, you know, keep up another part-time job or something like that at night, because having a chance to really think about what you did each day, reflect on it, that is also part of the value of going through the fellowship, is finding the time to really sit and consume everything. So I think those would probably be my two pieces of advice.
All right, thank you. Anne, do you want to say anything to bring us home?
Yeah, this is some insider information.
Oh, really?
Get to know Father Rick Curry. This will serve you well, not only in life in general, but for the fellowship specifically when you apply. And just to truncate it dramatically for time, but this is a priest who was born without an arm. And the priesthood told him he could not be a priest because he didn't have an arm and he couldn't hold the Eucharist up like was expected. This man then decided to start a theater group for disabled people. And then that turned into a writing group at Walter Reed. He had this dream to make a bakery for transitioning service members, and that's all it was an idea. And he just kept talking about it. He met Connie Milstein, who is, you know, the funder, and things lined up in a cosmic way. I think that's the short story. If you go to YouTube, you type in Father Rick Curry, get yourself a box of tissues, and just get to know that story. I think when you go through the interview process, I think knowing that story will serve you very well. It's the roots of the organization. It's real. It's a legacy building thing. And it's an exciting, I maybe tend to be a dreamer and really off the charts, but someday I see dog tag France, dog tag Italy, dog tag Germany, dog tag auto shop, dog tag hairdresser, I mean, I just think, you know, there's a lot of potential there, and it's an exciting organization to be a part of. That said, the other piece of advice I would give is trust the process. And it's like Monifa said, when they make the cohort, if, you know, they're very deliberate and intentional about getting all, you know, branches represented, you know, caregivers, family members, service members. So if you, for whatever reason, don't make a particular cohort, one, trust your own timing, because maybe the timing's not right for you, but don't let it discourage you if you don't get picked up. Just have your application in, and you know, be excited about whatever the next step is going to be, and you know, and just really trust where you are and what's happening, and that it's all got momentum, you know, going to an ultimate good place that's going to serve you well, for sure.